Hi everyone, in today's video we're going to be talking about photographing dragonflies. I've done a few videos on this before, but I thought I'd do a new one because I've tweaked how I photograph them, and of course I'm now using the Olympus or OM 150 to 400mm zoom lens, so the technique's slightly different. It's a beautiful sunny day, not a cloud in the sky, so that makes exposure a lot easier, and I'm actually using manual exposure, so I can set my shutter speed manually, my aperture manually and my ISO manually, just to make sure that the camera doesn't mess up the exposure. It's usually quite reliable, but when you've got constant conditions, you might as well manually set the settings so you know they're right. I'm varying between ISO 200 and 400, between 2000 and 2500th of a second, and the lens is set to 5.6, so wide open with the teleconverter on. And I'm also using the bird subject detect because that does work on dragonflies. But to help it out and stop it focusing on anything in the background, I've also used the focus limiter, which is set at 1.3 to 6 meters. Now, I can actually adjust that, and a lot of brands will let you do that and manually set a focus distance, but this is working for me quite well. As anyone that's photographed dragonflies will tell you, other than focusing, the other issue is tracking them. And to help me with that, I'm using the zoom on my lens. So I'm zooming out to find the subject, and if I get on it, I try and focus, and then I zoom in if possible, especially if the creature is hovering. And I'm starting to get some results. This site is one of the best in the country for lesser emperor dragonfly, a species that's only really come into this country in any real numbers in the last decade or so, and literally in the last few years is when it's really taken off in numbers, with a few sites having double figures now. I did quite well here about a week ago, and I did manage to get the lesser emperors. After it hovering the wrong way, I finally got a few shots as it slowly flew past, and one of it banking. And after some persistence, for an hour or so, it finally came in closer. And I also got this okay shot of a brown hawker, my bogey species. And this emperor dragonfly made a slow pass with its legs dangling, before it too banked towards me. But today I'm hoping to get some more and hopefully better photos. I'm constantly looking to the side here because the dragonflies are still flying around. That lesser emperor came so close I had to switch to manual focus just to get on it. You can see here I'm desperately leaning to the left as it's facing slightly away from me. And it was so close I had to zoom right out to even find it in the frame. Sadly, it flew off before I could zoom in for better shots. There's a whole load of damselflies flying around as well on the weedy patches, and I managed to get a few of them in flight. And I got a few on my last visit too. These male small red-eyed damselflies were hovering around just too far away for detailed shots, but I was pleased to get some flight shots anyway. The lesser emperors stopped showing as well, and the sun had moved round to a less favourable position, so I moved on. I've now come down to the temporary pond area, and this is a good spot for southern migrant hawker. Now the good news is, southern migrant hawker is very good at hovering. It's one of the best species, if not the best species, to photograph in flight because of that. The bad news is, it's hovering in front of a load of reeds, and of course even the best autofocus in the world can't resist focusing on something like reeds with their high contrast. So I'm having to help out the autofocus with a little bit of manual focus to get it roughly in the ballpark, and then I press the autofocus button and it locks straight onto it, so it's slightly faster than just plain manual focusing. And of course I've got the age-old problem of photographing dragonflies in flight, is that when they do hover, they often do it while facing the wrong way. I've got some okay shots of this male, but he only hung around for a few minutes before he found a female and disappeared into the reeds. I came here last week as well, and I managed to get a few nice shots. I'd managed some much better shots on the previous visit, as you can see here, with some head-on shots, and I managed to zoom right in on one when it hovered close by, which I'm rather pleased with. Even managed to get some video in slow motion of one hovering. After getting some 10 times slowed down footage, I went in for some close-up footage of the southern migrant hawker hovering, which came out pretty well I think. So I've not done that much dragonfly photography this year, but as you can see, the 2 days I've had have been quite productive. So I hope the tips I've given have been useful for you. Here's a few more photos. Here's a couple of shots of an emperor I took at the same site 1 month before the last visit. Here's a perched up scarce chaser I got on the same trip. And 2 shots I took since I recorded this video on another site, a common darter in flight and a patrolling brown hawker. Slightly better than my previous effort, but still work to do on this species. And yeah, I'd love to know what you think and what techniques you use to photograph dragonflies in flight. Just leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.